Anybody else on earth? Florida Republican Congresswoman Ileana Ros-Lehtinen, chair of the Foreign Affairs Subcommittee on the Middle East and Northern Africa. Congresswoman, thanks for being with me.
Thank you, Jose. A pleasure.
Secretary Kerry said yesterday the U.S. is making significant progress. Do you agree?
I don't agree that we've made significant progress in the fight against ISIS. I think it's an important fight. It's a fight that we must be victorious in. But I don't see that we're bringing in the coalition in the way that we should. I don't think that we have trained or armed those rebels who are going to fight ISIS as we said we would. And I don't see this process even in bombing raids to be sufficient. They put out a press release to say we had 10 bombings this weekend. It's not enough against this growing menace. More foreign fighters are getting in there. We just had a subcommittee hearing about the amount of foreign fighters coming from the Middle East and the West to join the fight alongside ISIS. It is just incredible. We are not winning this yet.
So how are they getting in, and how are they able to do this?
Well, we need to talk to our supposed allies and get them to at least make sure that they are taking some action against these fighters going into Syria and going into Iraq, because they are helping fuel the fire. And we have some good folks there on the ground, like the Kurds, who are willing to take the fight to ISIS. We're not saying we're going to have our own boots on the ground, but we talked about and we authorized training the opposition overseas. There's been not one person trained so far. We talked and we passed the authorization to give them weapons, and very little has been sent. As we have heard other leaders in other military situations say, you can't win a war with blankets. That's what the Ukraine president said to us in relation to Russia's aggressions, but that could be applied in the fight against Syria, against ISIS in Syria. We've got to be more aggressive. Humanitarian aid is good, but it's not going to beat ISIS.
Congressman, we also got word yesterday that ISIS is now setting up training camps in eastern Libya. What do you make of this?
Well, you know, we thought that Libya was a mission accomplished, and then we had Benghazi. We saw that this White House wanted a political narrative saying everything was great in Libya, and what we've seen is we're about to lose Libya. Iraq and Syria, as we know, are hell on earth, and then they won't stop there. Lebanon, and just this week we met with the leader of Jordan. He's very worried stability of his kingdom. ISIS is not going to stop. They don't recognize any borders. Today it's Iraq and Syria, but it's also Libya, and it's also other terrorist networks. You were just talking about a story about a journalist at Al-Qaeda in Yemen. It's a global jihadist network. We've got to defeat them all.
Congressman, I want to turn to Iran. State Department officials will talk to lawmakers today to argue against new sanctions against Iran. You feel differently. How do you make your case?
Well, I think that it is important to put more sanctions, additional, even tougher sanctions against Iran. That is the only way that we can pressure Iran into giving up its nuclear infrastructure. I think that the administration is negotiating a very bad, a very weak nuclear deal that will make us less safe. I will be meeting with the ambassador of Israel to the United States, Ron Dermer, later this afternoon, and we're going to talk about what we can do here in Congress about strengthening sanctions. This is not the time to let up. This is the time to make sure that Iran dismantles its entire nuclear infrastructure. No ballistic missiles in which to deliver the nukes. We've got to keep our allies and our country safe. And making sure that Iran has no nuclear weapons is the way to do it.
Congresswoman Ileana Ros-Lehtinen, thank you so much.
Thank you, Jose.
NBC's Richard Engel has been living in the Middle East.